Good day, folks. Hope you are doing well and welcome to the F1 Corner. 3 races are done, 10 to go so far, since we've learned about new races just today as I'm recording this. You can watch my other video about the iconic tracks that are coming back right on my channel. And by the way, please like and hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any updates on this 2020 Formula One season. So, like I said, 3 races in, 10 to go, probably more. What have we learned so far? There's definitely a lot to talk about for every team. So how about we start with, we can start with the obvious one, Mercedes. So Mercedes Formula One team, they've been dominant so far this season, all the way to since the beginning in Austria. And what can we say? They've been super dominant. They have obviously the strongest car of the grid. Sorry, was just distracted. And strongest car of the grid, and nobody seems to be able to stop them. First race was a bit tricky. It first looked like we might have some challenge with Red Bull, but Styrian Grand Prix, Hungarian Grand Prix, nothing that seems to stop them. And this is not super surprising, considering that last year Ferrari had probably the strongest car on the grid, at least at some point, the strongest power unit, that's for sure. So what did Mercedes do? Well, they started developing their 2020 car thinking that Ferrari would be as powerful, if not more, than they were last year. So they had to do something incredibly fast in order to hope to compete with a potential Ferrari for this year. And we'll get to Ferrari's case in a moment, because we have reasons to believe that we know why Ferrari is not as strong this year and why Mercedes is dominating so much. And I think nothing can stop them. Lewis Hamilton seems to be in super shape. Bottas having trouble a little bit this season. He won the first race, yes, but then Styria and Hungary could not capitalize and keep his lead in the championship. And Mercedes just, dominant again. They're doing what they have to do. They're not sitting on their laurels, and they just keep improving. And that's what you have to do when you're a top team and you want to show that you're serious. And at this point, I don't know who can stop them. Because if we look at other teams, their closest rivals so far, Red Bull Racing, does not seem to be able to come close, even on tracks that should suit them. Last week, Hungarian Grand Prix, a slow track made for, real aerodynamic car that are good in fast and low speed corner. A track that usually suits Red Bull and their sisters AlphaTauri. This year they were nowhere. Verstappen qualified 7th and lucky to make it to second place during the race because of all the strategy conundrum and starting under wet tires and everything. But after that, he was just, so far away from Lewis Hamilton, and 1 or 2 more laps and Bottas would have passed him and Verstappen would have been third. So Red Bull side, they lost something this year. The Honda power unit does not seem that bad, but the car itself has lost some of its touch in terms of aerodynamic and its way that you know, how they usually dominate slow and cornery circuits. But does not mean that they are out of the picture yet. They are second in the championship. They have a fairly reliable car so far, but it's, you know, when we see it, it's a bit twitchy. It's a car that the drivers have trouble gaining control of with, you know, we've seen Verstappen and Albon both taking the car for a spin in most of the practice session. And in Hungary, Albon having just trouble finding you know, the good setup for that car, because for some reason it just kept feeling different at every lap. So Red Bull, they have a lot of work to do still. They're not there quite yet. I think they're eager to get to those new rules in 2022 now. And yes, you know, with Red Bull, you always go, oh, it's Adrian Newey and everything, but it's not just Adrian Newey behind the car. It's the people who also help him and help design, as well as everyone who's involved in that team and who makes the decisions. And let's talk about Ferrari, because it's a very important part of all of that. Ferrari that definitely lost its touch this year, and we believe it is power unit related. For the first time during the Hungarian Grand Prix, Mattia Binotto, team principal, admitted that the new rules regarding the power unit, that you know, the agreement that was announced during the winter practice affected Ferrari. And you know, you said that it affected all the teams, but that, I don't think that's super true either. Because if you look at all the other teams, yes, of course it will affect them to some degree, but who are the only teams that truly seem to have lost something this year? They're all the Ferrari powered team, meaning that whatever agreement they came to and changes they had to do to their power unit, it affected the overall performance, and they are losing it. They are losing something. Ferrari so far, they are at the back of the midfield. Maybe, I think at best at this point they are maybe fifth, like behind Mercedes, behind Red Bull, Racing Point, McLaren, potentially even behind Renault, who is not that great so far. But Ferrari, I don't know what's gonna happen, but they need to change something. They need to do something. Is Mattia Binotto the solution that Ferrari need at this point? I don't know. We'll see. It's only his second full year as team principal. But sadly for Ferrari, it is not looking good. And you know, even their actual car, which looked more like definitely look a lot more like the 2019 car than many other teams. I think they were hoping to get the 2021 rules in 2021 instead of 2022 to avoid you know, having so many bad seasons. Because now, if that current car is transposed to next year, it's not gonna be much better. So I think Ferrari is looking at 2 hard years at this stage. Racing Point, the kid fell. Okay, mother is there. Racing Point, the pink Mercedes, currently look to be the second strongest team on the grid. On par with Red Bull, I'd say, fighting with Red Bull. They admittedly said they copied most of the 2019 Mercedes design. They are currently under investigation for their brake ducts to be sure they are compliant with the rules, that they did not literally copy everything, and that they did some designs themselves. So the FIA recently requested the plans of the Mercedes 2019 brake ducts, just to be able to compare with Racing Point, and we hope to have some answers by the Silverstone Grand Prix next week. But if things stands, Racing Point have one hell of a car. They are fast. They have everything that Mercedes had last year. And to crown that, they will be rebranded Aston Martin next year. And there are rumors of Seb Vettel joining the team. How good would that be for them to have a world champion joining the future Aston Martin team and help them build a championship winning car? Of course, the question then would be who Seb would replace. The obvious choice in terms of statistics should be to get rid of Lance Stroll and keep Sergio Perez. But realistically, with Daddy owning the team, it's probably Stroll who would stay and Sergio who would be fired, sadly. A lot of things to look forward with Racing Point. I think they have the potential to be the second fastest team this year, competing with Red Bull. In Hungary, they were super fast in quali, taking second line, and they can just go forward from there. That's good for them. I'm super happy, honestly. It's another team in the mix, and having just more team fightings for podiums and for wins, that's what we want in Formula One. Oops. Drop my notes, sorry. Who's next? McLaren. McLaren continuing on the progress that they made in 2019, and showing that they can take the opportunities that are offered to them. Podium in Austria, a lucky one, but Lando Norris just showing that he's still that super fast guy that we saw in 2019. Carlos Sainz also having good results since the beginning of the season. Cars making points, and will be fighting definitely again for fourth in the championship. They just need to keep working on the car, keep improving. Sainz also committed to doing the best that he can, even though he's leaving for Ferrari next year. And then Lando Norris, he's just a bullet in that car at this stage in the season. Great job for McLaren. Not much to say, but they are in the fight in the midfield, and close to the Racing Point even in some races. So great job. Renault, probably the disappointment of the top 5. No, I won't say that. I'd say the team that has a lot of potential, but still needs to capitalize on it. We know it's tough with Esteban Ocon coming after a year off of Formula One, and Daniel Ricciardo leaving for McLaren. It's probably not the best environment to work on and to develop the team. Still, currently I think they stand somewhere around the 5th best. In the mix, I think they are in the mix with Ferrari at the moment. They have the potential to go higher. I think they have the potential to go 4th, but they need to improve fast with this shortened season. Will they go 4th? I'm not sure with their current driver lineup. As I mentioned, it's a tricky situation. I think what they can do now is just help Esteban Ocon develop himself and give Ricciardo the fastest car that he can get, but knowing that his head might be not totally there since he's going to McLaren. Renault, good results so far. They've been in the points. They are there. Ocon needs to do better in quali. That's been a very bad spot for him so far. And in Hungary, even both cars did not even make it to Q3. So yeah, maybe 5th best at the moment for Renault. But still, they have potential. They can improve. And I think, they said that they will stay in Formula 1 even next year, so it's not a big deal. But they, the higher ups at the big Renault Corp will want some result at some point. 5 teams left. So we did 5 teams left. Remember to hit the like button and to subscribe. AlphaTauri. Interesting season so far. AlphaTauri, the ex-Toro Rosso, are still aiming to be in the top 5 of the championship, but at the moment they don't have the car for it. They have a car that can fight if they have opportunities, but they don't have a car that can really fight the top 5 teams that we just mentioned. At the moment, the most that we've seen from them, they have points, of course, but usually in quali, in practice, they are the team that are 11th, 12, 13. So, they are there. They are ready to fight if the opportunity presents itself. But sadly, just like Red Bull, they seem to have lost some of their touch in Hungary last week again. AlphaTauri, just like Red Bull, is a good car on slow cornery tracks, but they were not last week. Daniel Kvyat finishing way far behind, and Gasly not even finishing the race. Well, he had also a nightmarish weekend, so it's not entirely his fault. But AlphaTauri, good team still. They're very respectable, but they lost some of their touch that would allow them usually to fight a lot more for points. We'll see what kind of upgrades they bring. Also the Honda power unit, how much it will improve. And I think we can just, follow those 2 drivers. Good drivers in Daniel Kvyat and Pierre Gasly. They seem to be at ease with that team. So it's another one to follow. Who else do we have? 6 AlphaTauri. Well, we can talk about maybe the other Alfa Romeo. A big disappointment so far this season for them. They are literally the slowest team in quali at the moment. Hungary, Kimi Raikkonen taking last place in quali. For the first time of his whole Formula 1 career, Kimi never qualified last, and he just did. And that car, mentioned it earlier in that video, has a Ferrari-powered engine. And Ferrari engine seems to be nowhere. The car might not be that bad in race pace, since they are still able to be in front of the Williams. But in terms of pure power, it's nowhere. And I think both drivers knows it, but they can't really, admit that it's the engine's fault. And it would be sad to see Kimi Raikkonen take his leave of Formula 1 at the end of the season, nothing confirmed, but speculating, with such a poor car. Which could also be a place for Sergio Perez to go, should he get fired from Racing Point for Vettel. That's one of also the rumors that came up recently. So Alfa Romeo, the only team that never made it to Q2 so far this year, and they got 2 points from the Austrian Grand Prix. Lucky one, since only 11 car finished the race, but a team that has a lot of work to do. It might not even be their fault that much. Let's keep going with the final Ferrari team, Haas. Haas, a team that had a disastrous season last year, seems to slowly making it back in the mix. But again, what's impeding them is that Ferrari power unit. They have race pace. They have a car to race. In Hungary last week, Kevin Magnussen taking 9th before being penalized, but still taking 10th, and the first point for Haas this season. They have been there. They have the car to race, but on fast track, there's nothing they can do with that power unit. In Hungary, it's a slow track. They were able to keep the Ferrari, keep the McLaren behind them. They were there. Their times were super respectable. But unless they can get power from that engine, it won't go far this year again. But at least, that's good news for them. I think they are happy with what they have at the moment in terms of improvement from last year. Haas, a team that has, we don't know, a hazy future. They're the youngest in the paddock, and I know it's a long-term project, but if they cannot make money, Gene Haas won't want to keep this project afloat. So they need to improve, and I think the fast way for them would be to change engine supplier, unless Ferrari promises them something ultra fast for next year. Haas, not completely at the back of the grid, obviously. They are that team that on fast track will fight for 14, 15, but on tracks like Hungary and tracks where you don't need a powerful power unit, they will be there in the points, I'm sure of it. Who else do we have? Williams. Let's talk about Williams. Great improvement since last year for Williams. Last year they were nowhere, both in quali and both in the race. They solved their qualification problem. Now they have a car that is actually respectably good in clean air on one fast lap. Now where they lack is the car to be behind someone else, and that's something that George Russell mentioned. The car is super good in clean air, but as soon as you are behind someone else, it gets tricky and the car is unstable, so they cannot fight really during the race, and that explains why they are dead last. But George Russell, brilliant in qualification, getting 12th position twice. Once in the dry, once in the wet, just showing how fast he can be and know how at ease he is. And Nicolas Latifi doing a good job overall, gaining experience and making it there. Both drivers have been confirmed in the team for next year, so they know that they will still be there, that they can commit themselves to develop that car, and just good job for Williams. They need and they deserve to be back in the top teams and to make their way there. And I think they are on the good way, even though they have financial issues. It will probably resolve itself. So just good job, Williams. And what team did I forget? I know I forgot a team. I think Mercedes, Red Bull, Racing Point, McLaren, Renault, Ferrari, Haas. No, No, we talk about all of them already. So 10 teams. Oh, I think should mention also that it was announced that Ferrari will modify their technical team to just try to improve the car. They're making big changes on their development and technical team. Article is up on the Formula One website. I don't remember all the details, but it's pretty major. They are admitting that they have a bad car. I think that's the first step to solving the problem. And now it's just up to them to fix it. And I think if I was Ferrari at this point, I would probably start already thinking of throwing away 2020 and start working on 2021. Charles Leclerc would not be happy. Sebastian Vettel could not care less since he's leaving. So I think it's an opportunity to just, let's start early for next year and improve. That's what they need to do, because otherwise Mercedes, they will just keep doing what they're doing and they will still be the best next year. So they need to do something fast. So that's it, guys. That's this review of the first 3 races of the season. I should say review of the teams of the first 3 races. Please hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Facebook, and have a good day, guys. Take care.